The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Well, hello, everybody. It is Esther Gulius Tax Service here. Esther's taking a little break this week, but this is Chris and Tiffany from EG Tax here to help you for this hour to go over whatever tax needs you have. Any questions, concerns, we're here to help you. How you doing, Tiff?
Good. I called her on the way here, and she's out with some friends, and they just had lunch, so that was a late lunch, right?
Yeah.
But she's having a very good time. How am I doing? I'm doing good. I worked earlier at an urgent care center, so I'm a little stressed, tired, something like that, coming down from that. So how about you? How's it going?
Doing good. Nice day out there. You know, the sun is shining and not, praise God, the smoke is almost gone, and,
Yep.
People can enjoy being outside again.
Yeah.
But hopefully they're listening right now.
I know. We went to Old Man Rivers during the week, and we brought the dogs, and we thought it was going to be packed. And we were the only people at Old Man Rivers, and like 6 o'clock, 6:30 on a certain night, and they were supposed to have bands and shut down the road, but they had to cancel all of it because of the smog.
Yep.
So,
yeah, crazy.
So we had the joint to ourselves. That was nice. Yeah. But Gracie's trying to train the dogs, and so there wasn't a lot of that going on, right?
Right. But again, we're here to help you with your tax needs. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone. You can text in your questions at 716-803-0930. And I know we do have a special guest today to continue our summer series. We'll get to Brian in a minute, but I just want to say what we're seeing letters now coming into the office, not just the verify. We're still seeing a lot of those. You got to verify yourself. But we're seeing people get letters saying, hey, you still owe us money. Please pay. And they already paid. So either people have to get a copy of their canceled check, and they're going to have to submit front and back of that canceled check to prove to them that it's paid. I know last year what they were doing was turning checks into e-checks. So there was no back of checks to show the IRS where they posted it to. But it took a long time, but they did eventually get cleared up. So if you do get a letter saying that you do owe the money, and you paid it, don't pay it again.
Yep. And then don't forget, on our website, we have, or it's coming soon, registering for tax school. We're starting it early this year. And so there's a 2-for-1 special. So join and maybe have a friend come with you. I know a long time ago when Esther did tax school, she took her sister-in-law with her.
No. Her sister-in-law took Esther dragging and screaming.
Oh.
Because Esther's like, why do I want to do taxes?
And now look at her.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity if you learn with a buddy, because maybe you get a topic where they don't get a topic. And so together you can sort of hold each other's hand and navigate through the waters of learning taxes. And you could be like Esther and Pam.
Right. Yep.
So any questions, 632-7886. And
that's our office number.
It is.
803-0930 here. But we have Brian Faraci here to talk health insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, any type of health insurance. He's from the financial guys, the insurance side of things. How you doing, Brian?
Good. Thanks for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. And, just like taxes, health insurance is ever changing.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes upcoming over the next year with the Medicaid Essential Plan and Child Health Plus coming to an end for millions of people across the United States. So there's going to be many changes there. So if you're getting those renewal notices, give our office a call at EG Tax. We can help you out with those situations.
Right. And what you mean they're getting rid of is the auto renewal is getting rid of.
Yeah, so throughout COVID, they weren't doing income checks and making sure that the income was staying beneath a threshold. So that's coming to an end as of June 30th. So anyone that has a renewal date, July 1st or later, will have to do an income verification and provide new income.
Yeah. So, and I know we've talked about this on the show and talked to Chris, who works in our office too, that there's people out there who at one point were on the essential plan, but now they're making six figures and they can't get off of it.
Yeah, we have actually had that situation with Medicaid come up a few times where someone was trying to have a procedure done and no one was going to accept the Medicaid. So we had to file appeals to get them removed off Medicaid so she can pay full price for a plan. It's crazy how that works.
Wow. But I mean, this is things that's going on, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, people. So if you have questions on your Medicare, your Medicaid, your essential plan, give us a call here, 803-0930. Or, during the week, you can always call our office at 632-7886 and ask for Chris Moody or Brian Faraci, and they'll be able to assist you then, too.
I know a lot of my clients get really confused. So, Brian, if somebody is still working, say they're 72, 73, or they're 66, 65, when you turn 65, you have to sign up for Medicare, right?
You don't have to sign up for Medicare, and
or you have to go and tell them, right?
It's not really a one-size-fits-all answer. But if you're an active employee, you or your spouse, we recommend signing up for Part A just so you get in the system. So when you do decide to retire, you're not tied to your work plan so much. Okay. However, if you're contributing to a health savings account, you do not want to sign up for any part of Medicare because then anything you contribute after that date is going to be taxed.
Okay. So you don't have to notify them or anything like that?
So if you're collecting Social Security, you'll be auto-enrolled into Medicare, and you would have to opt out by signing the back of your Medicare card and sending it back.
Okay. And if you opt out, you can opt back in again?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
But it's important these days with the cost of employer health insurance, with the high deductibles, and the employers contributing less and less we see to these plans, that we shop it between Medicare to see where you get the best coverage, not just say, well, I'm working, I need to stay with my work coverage, because that's not the case in all situations.
Yeah, well, right now, what we heard was the insurance companies are looking for a 40% price increase. I mean, they always look for they always outreach.
Yep. So the small groups in Western New York are looking for a 39% increase in the health insurance. I guess based on my professional opinion and what I've seen in the past, we're probably going to see around half of that, maybe 20% around there for small groups. And then we are looking at, for individuals, even those rates are going to be skyrocketing.
Wow.
They're looking to get about 22% increase there.
So employers are really going to be put to the screws, right?
It's going to cost a lot more money for everyone all around, because the employers are not going to want to contribute that extra 20% or possibly more.
I mean, think about it. If a plan costs $1,000, and I'm doing simple math here, that's an extra $200 a month.
Yeah.
That's $2,400 extra a year. Most employers can't afford that.
No.
I mean, especially because now wages have to go up every year through the roof.
Correct.
So, you may get a nice $2 raise, but guess what? That's probably going to go to your health insurance.
Yeah, a lot of people are, I need a raise at work. I'm not making enough money, but then they have this platinum package for their health insurance. And you try to say, well, that's worth $20,000 to $25,000 a year for you. That's why employers can't give, higher wages in some circumstances.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax. We have Brian Faraci for Talking Health Insurance. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back on the other side. Okay, We're back, and it is, speaking of family, it's a great day out there to be with your family. You know, it is summer. We got to enjoy it while we can. You know, usually my wife will always say, what shade of gray is it today? But it doesn't look like there's any gray out there. So enjoy it, people. But give us a call here in studio, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone. Love to hear from you, whether it's a tax question, a healthcare question for Brian. You know, you're like, why do you have a health insurance person on the radio now? It's not sign-up time. But technically, any time is sign-up time for people depending on their circumstance.
Yeah, there's pretty much a 12-month enrollment for people for loss of coverage, or if a life change event, you have a child. You know, there's a lot of different ways to get new health insurance.
Right. You just turned 26 and you got to go off your parents' insurance.
Yes, yeah, that comes up a lot, and there's a ton of different ways, and it can be very confusing and overwhelming for many.
Yeah. We do have a text. It says, I just lost my job, here we go, and looking for health insurance. Will I qualify for Medicaid?
That's actually a great question. So as far as what New York State is looking for income purposes, they want to know what you made from January 1st up until the day of, you know, your job ending or the day that you're looking for insurance. And then they want to know what your projections are for the remainder of the year. So what you made in previous years has no bearing on your health insurance for the current year that we're in. So to answer the question, if you're above $20,000 in either income that you've earned or projected income as a household of one, you would not be eligible for Medicaid, but then there's also the option for the essential plan.
Right. I mean, and that's where me and my wife, we see people get in trouble when there is a job loss and they go to sign up for insurance, and either the person at New York State or the health broker says, what's your projected income? And they only do it going forward.
Yes.
They don't look backwards. And so if they sign up for a silver plan where there is a subsidy, you know, or a gold plan, on the tax return, that's got to get reconciled. Like your income, because you're saying, oh, my income's only $30,000 projected, but oh wait, you already made $30,000, so you're really at $60,000, and that's where we have a fun time, right, Tiff? Telling people, oh, you owe $6,000 back to the government because of your subsidy.
Yeah. I did Gina's tax return this year, not using last year names, and she works at a place, and she gets subsidy, but she didn't project how much she makes, and she's a single person, and so she owed, and she's like, wait a minute, I usually get a refund, and it's just that you have to do a really good job of projecting what your earnings are going to be, right?
Yeah, and also a lot of people aren't familiar with this, but in the middle of the year, we come across it quite often where someone will call me and say, hey, Brian, I have to take $10,000 out for home repairs. How's that going to affect my insurance? Mm-hmm. Okay, so no problem. This is how it's going to reflect. I'll explain to them what the new numbers are going to be. I go into their account, and all I do is I slide the scale back from, let's say their discount was $300 a month, and I take that down to $200 a month to try to counter some of that money that they're taking so they don't have to pay that large sum at the end of the year.
Right. You can, and that's one nice thing about the exchange. You can adjust your subsidy throughout the year.
Correct. Yes, it's very important because not many people can dish out a lump sum of money at the end of the year. It's easier to pay the $100 extra each month.
Right. Yep.
Exactly.
And we got another text. It says, I'm a Financial Guys client. I'm not collecting Social Security yet, but turning 65 November 16th this year. When and who should I contact to sign up? I still work part-time. Thanks.
So you're in that window right now. We always like to meet with someone, 6 months prior to turning 65, just so we can get the ball rolling and inform you of, all the different moving parts, because everyone's situation is unique to them. But right now you're in the best time frame, and you can call EG Tax at 632-7886 or call the Financial Guys office 633-1331.
Right. And then
does it matter that he's working part-time?
So it'll depend if he's taking health insurance through the company. If there's more than 20 employees, he can opt out of Medicare. But again, we want to look at what his deductibles are, his co-pays, and compare that if he went on to Medicare and give him, a ballpark figure based off those numbers.
Right. And that's the thing. I know you guys will dive into somebody's needs, right?
Yeah, it's the most important thing because everyone has different needs. Even husbands and wives, we want to make sure that we look at them separately and not just say, well, you guys could both go on, insurance company A's plan and it'll work out for both of you, because that's not always the case.
Right. I mean, I know I just had somebody a couple of weeks ago come in and in 2021, they went into the donut hole and they had to pay $7,000 for prescriptions. And when they signed up, or that was for 2022, for 2023, they went to a broker and said, look, I can't afford going into the donut hole. Please switch my program. I can't afford this. Okay, we're going to put you on the best plan. We're going to do this and this. And I just saw him. So in the beginning of May, he had to start paying full price for...
Still have his high cost, right?
Still has his high cost. So they really...
It's not the plan. So if you're going to hit the donut hole, it doesn't matter what plan you're on. You're still going to enter the donut hole and have those high costs. It's the other things that are important is signing yourself up for charity care, having us review...
Epic.
Epic's very important if you're eligible for that. And then one that people don't think of a lot is, programs like GoodRx or Mark Cuban's pharmacy that he has. We shop everywhere for these prescriptions if it's, to keep costs down.
Brian, when people say they have Medicare Advantage, what does that mean?
So Medicare Advantage is Part C. And a lot of people are confused because the marketing gimmicks will say, well, are you signed up for Part C? And people are calling these places and getting their plans switched on them when they're already in a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
So they're the exact same thing.
And then what about, I'm hearing a lot about people who are getting part of what they pay in Medicare refunded back to them?
Yep, that's another thing is, do you qualify to get money back in your Social Security check once you turn 70 or once you turn 68?
Right.
It doesn't matter what age you are. Everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, most people will pay the standard Part B premium. Unless you're on Medicaid, then you could pay no Part B premium. Or if you're a high income earner, as you guys deal with sometimes, they're paying a really, really high Part B premium.
Right.
The IRMA, yeah. And then there are plans that almost every insurance company offers that does provide money back in your Social Security check.
Okay.
But there's always a give and take.
Yeah.
You're going to get money back. You're probably going to give up some benefits and cheap copays.
Well, I was with a patient the other day, and they're having some of the money put back in their check.
Yep.
But we tried to get him Medicaid, and so he would be duly covered. Mm-hmm. And you can't have Medicaid and have some of the money put back in your Social Security. They said it's one or the other.
It's one or the other because they're already giving you the full premium back.
Exactly, yeah. So he had to make a choice
yeah.
between what he preferred. And so he chose. And then it's also nice. It's retro, too. So they'll retro it back. So he's going to get a big chunk of money sent back to him, which is really good.
So for those of you listening that are on Medicaid and Medicare, there are programs out there that will give you food allowance, an allowance to pay your utility bills. You can go
air
right to
conditioning
Walmart.
Units.
Yeah, there's a ton of different programs available.
You just said this food allowance. Is that the thing I just saw online where they said people over 65 may be eligible for $900 a month in food?
Yeah, so again, it's how they're marketing it. They're making it seem like anyone can get it, but it's not that. You have to be Medicaid eligible to get the food allowances in this area. Now, I am licensed in the state of Florida, and they do have normal Medicare Advantage plans that aren't Medicaid where you get the food allowance as well.
Okay.
So New York State's about 5 years behind the rest of the country.
Which is crazy.
Big shocker, right?
You would think, yeah.
But now, I can hear a lot of people out there going, wait a minute. How do I get Medicaid and Medicare? What's the income cutoff for that?
So Medicaid and Medicare, once you turn 65, the state turns the Medicaid over to the county. So now you're dealing with the county, not the state, so it's much more difficult. They look at assets, they look at savings accounts, they look at everything, and it's about $1,100 a month you have to be under to qualify for Medicaid.
But you could maybe sign up for a pool trust or a spend down.
There is this. So there's spend downs, there's pooled trust, there's people that are partial eligible for Medicaid, which will still give you some of the benefits.
Right.
Or there's the low income subsidy program. I mean, there's a ton of different programs. I can go on a whole hour just talking about the different programs.
Which is so good for people who have, lots of things going on. There's a lot of options, you know.
Yep. And if you guys out there have questions for Brian, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone. Text in your questions, 716-803-0930. Because we get asked a lot of times about health insurance, so I know there has to be a lot of questions out there. And the sad part is, when I started doing taxes a long time ago, I never thought about health insurance and taxes in the same sentence.
Yeah, it all works hand in hand. It's great having you guys as a partner, being to go help people go back and forth and get them, you guys can advise them on the tax strategy, and then we advise them, what the insurance will cost in different scenarios.
Brian, so before the break, is this like an unprecedented increase in what insurances are going to? This is like unheard. This is one of the largest jumps you've seen in a while.
We saw about an 18% increase last year, or this
Okay.
year going into 2023. But the money has to be made back somewhere from COVID.
Yeah. So that's what you think is going on, part of it.
Yeah, because they're looking at the cost of their claims over the past year.
Okay.
I mean, you could say that about regular insurance, because how much did people's homeowners insurance go up and car insurance go up because of Ian that went through Florida?
Yep, you're exactly right.
That's what they do. They pay out all these claims. Well, they have to recapture the money, and how do they do that? They raise the price for everybody else.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I know Esther started looking at her insurance that she pays her employees, and she's like, wow.
Even our E&O insurance, our business insurance went up. We just
Yeah.
did those renewals at the
Yeah.
office, and everything skyrocketed.
So, yeah, inflation.
And then I got to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Go on an airplane, fill your gas tank, right?
Yep. Chris and Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax, 803-0930. Get your questions in now for us and for Brian. We're going to take a break for the news. We'll see you on the other side.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me.
And we're back. EG Tax to help you. Half an hour left in our show to give us a call here. Get your questions answered for taxes or health insurance. And as I was told by a texter, 803 0930. It's hard to say because I'm used to saying oh.
It's not out.
Get it straight.
Yes. But we do got Brian here to help us with your Medicare, Medicaid questions, health insurance questions.
Anything health insurance related.
I know last summer you helped us, and I think a lot of people do get confused with this, is they think they have to cover their children to 26.
And they don't, and I don't. A perfect example is I have myself and my wife on the work coverage, and I have my kids on Child Health Plus. Even though, we don't get it for free, we're still paying a premium. There's no copays. So I don't have to worry about copays for the doctor. Don't have to worry about,
The emergency
room. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And my son gets croup really bad a couple times a year where we have to take him to urgent care of the ER, and no copays. It's a beautiful thing, Child Health Plus.
And there's no problem. Somebody asked me about claiming your kids if they get Child Health Plus.
Nope, no issues at all with that because Child Health Plus only runs to the age of 19.
Okay.
And there are no income limits. The
Okay.
income only matters if you're going to receive discounts.
Okay.
You can simply pay the full premium, which is about $210 a month. But if you look at the overall picture, it's well worth it, with how much kids get hurt.
Whereas our
they're at the
daughter
doctor.
is over the age of 19, so once she broke off her insurance, we couldn't claim her anymore, right? Chris?
Right. Yeah, and it brought the family plan down to a taxpayer and spouse,
Yep.
And it brought the cost down $500, and she paid $25 a month for her health insurance.
And it's great health insurance.
And those are real savings. I mean, that's just not us saying we can save you. Those are actual true savings every month for you guys.
Right, right. I mean, it's unbelievable. So if you're you have parent out there, look at the health insurance where if you can save money right now, because I probably would. I'm not a betting man. I don't bet. I don't do any of that stuff. But I bet you most people could save money.
Yeah, I'd bet there's a really high percentage of people that can definitely save money, whether it's Child Health Plus. Maybe you don't need to claim your 20-year-old daughter or son. Maybe they can go on the essential plan and they qualify on their own. Right. And it's worth it. And that's where you guys come into play to help us out determining what's best tax purposes.
Right.
Yeah,
You know.
because go on, Chris, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, you have to be careful once they're over the age of 19. I know I was going to do this with my sister, but then she couldn't claim her daughter. And for the college credit, it was really imperative that she claim her daughter. So you got to be careful and wise and ask the right questions. And don't ask your neighbor over the fence who did that the other day. They asked me something and they were asking somebody over the fence and it was the wrong answer. And so you just want to make sure you ask the professionals who do it day in and day out.
It's nice to have those conversations with friends and family about what they're doing, what they like or dislike, but to assume that you're going to have the same insurance that they do is inaccurate.
Right.
Well, we just got a text in. It says, I just turned 65, signed up for Medicare. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I need a hip replacement. But my doctor does not take the insurance I have. Is it too late to switch coverage?
So there are special enrollments that are available throughout the year. There's 18 different special enrollments. So that would give an opportunity to switch plans. There are 5-star plans in this area. There's multiple, which Medicare says if there's a 5-star plan, you can switch your plan in the middle of the year. Or if you're eligible for Epic, we can enroll you into Epic, and that allows you a special enrollment as well to switch your plan.
Wow.
So we have 20 plus options in order to get you switched. So I'm sure there's a way for us to find out.
How do you keep it all straight? That's crazy. 20 plus different ways. But that's a good question because not every provider takes insurances. And so you really have to be careful. And that's why before you sign somebody up for Medicare, you guys really do a complete inventory and make sure that it's the right fit for them.
Yeah, and you don't want to sign up too early. You want to make sure, they give you that window. You want to sign up before it's due, but not 3 months before because a lot can change health-wise in those 3 months.
And also new this year, and I don't know how much it is, the vision and dental side of things.
Vision and dental there's been a lot more provided from the insurance carriers this year. We saw a huge increase of whether it's giving $1,500 allowances towards dental, whether it's a flex card that they're giving now at some companies, which would cover dental, vision, or hearing. There's a ton of new add-ons. So most people will stay with their COBRA coverage for the dental and vision. We're seeing less people do that now because the coverage with Medicare has been so good this year.
Yeah, it used to be just curative for dental, and now they're doing some preventative, right?
Yeah, so it used to be just medically necessary would be covered under Medicare, but now the Medicare Advantage plans or Part C is coming out with so many more different benefits when it comes to the ancillary stuff.
Yeah, which is so nice.
Wow. And that's it. You got to have somebody. Don't just auto renew.
Yeah, a lot of people, I had this insurance for 20 years while I worked. Well, that insurance may not be the best for you when you go on to Medicare, so you always have to keep an open mind.
Has vision changed a lot, Brian?
Vision's usually typical. You get, some a free eye exam, and then sometimes you'll get an allowance towards eyeglasses. One of the biggest misconceptions is cataract surgery.
Okay.
The surgery itself is covered. The enhanced lenses are not covered by insurance at all.
So those are the implantable lenses while they're doing the cataract surgery?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I believe, talk to my clients, it's $4,000.
My mom just had it done. My mom wasn't too happy with the cost of it, and she wanted to know why her Medicare didn't cover it.
Wow. That's really expensive. And that's $4,000 for one eye, maybe?
No, it's usually both. About
Okay.
$2,000 an eye.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, depending on the lens.
I wonder how long it lasts for until you need to get glasses because Chris, you had
I had the laser surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a while ago, and now I wear bifocals. Yay. But
It
we're
happens.
going to go to the phones and talk to Amy. Hey, Amy, how can we help you?
Yes, hi. I'm on Medicare and I'm on Medicaid. I had a car accident and I'm disabled, and that's why I am on both. I'm only 53. I worked all the way up until that accident. That's why I get SSD. I do not get SSI. But the income level is low enough where they gave me both. Now, I've been trying to find, I'm not on like a lot of prescriptions or anything like that. I'm trying to find an extra plan that would benefit me the most. And I can't even get anybody to help me at all with any of those answers. Like calling any of the companies, nobody's really guiding me in what's best for me. Like, excuse me.
So I'm assuming that you have a prescription drug plan, though, Amy?
I'm guessing so, but I don't have any prescriptions really, so
Okay.
it's
Do you have?
nothing I take regularly or anything like that.
Okay. So typically you would have been auto enrolled into a prescription plan for someone that's on SSD, going on to Medicare and Medicaid. So that's probably just sitting there in the background because you're not using it and you don't see the premium because the government's picking it up for you. But as I stated previously, there are plans that will give you up to $200 a month in grocery allowance to pay your utility bills, over-the-counter, medications. There's a whole ton of extras that you're eligible for.
So how do I pick one of these plans? Though I can't find anybody to guide
That's
me.
what she said. Nobody's helping
That's
her.
where we come into play. We represent all the major carriers in the area. So call the office on Monday. We can go through the process with you and
Is
try to
there
find something that suits your needs.
Any fee for that, Brian?
There's no fee. Our services are absolutely free. We get compensated by the insurance carrier.
That would be great. And I do need like some extra dental coverage. Well, I have it now, obviously, but like the things that I want done. And I would love to have LASIK eye surgery because all of a sudden, like I'm really needing, besides the reading glasses, I'm needing more than that. They did say I'm a candidate for that. So I don't know if there's anything that goes towards that. So I would be very happy to call the office.
And what is the number again, Brian?
It's 633-1331, and you can ask for me, Brian Faraci.
Okay, Brian Faraci.
Yes,
And what was the number again? I'm sorry, 633?
1331.
1331. I will be doing that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Amy. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, thanks. And look at that. We just helped someone. And that's what we're all about, is helping people, getting them what they need. Because we want to see people keep money in their pocket and not spend it where...
Especially with the cost of everything rising.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Couple texts came in.
Yep. I recently received a love letter from the IRS for a late fee and interest. I mailed my return on May 14th. I assume they did not take into account the winter storm extra month for filing. Are there more taxpayers receiving these notices?
Is that what you were alluding to earlier?
We have seen some. It's going to be a phone call you have to make because, again, remember, the extra time frame was for 5 counties in New York State.
That's
So
hard to
their
keep track of.
computers aren't programmed for that. So you can give us a call on Monday. Somebody at the office will call. We can do a conference call, and we'll just get the IRS on the phone and say, "Hey, I live in Erie County. We had to May 15th," and they'll go, "Oh, yeah, okay. Give me 5 to 7 minutes," and they'll come back and say, "You're all good."
That's funny.
I actually have a tax situation that came up. So Dana does my taxes at your office. She does
Yeah.
a great job.
Thank you.
I got a letter stating that they couldn't confirm, so I have to log on to the website, I guess.
Yep.
So
to
Dana
verify
told me
yourself.
what to do, so I'm assuming I'm not the only one that got a letter like that.
1.1 million people.
Oh,
Our daughter got a letter like that.
Okay, all right. So just for all the listeners, I did come across that as well.
yeah. And I had a client yesterday who said they're having a hard time getting onto that website. And I said to use a different web browser, try a different web browser.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I just got the letter about a week ago, so
Yeah.
I should
Yeah.
probably get to that.
Yeah, because they're not going to send you a refund until you do it.
Oh, okay. So I
Yeah.
better get on and do it then.
Yeah,
Yep. Don't drag your feet.
They're holding it hostage. Convenient, right?
Yeah, of course.
People who aren't getting the letter, but I guess then people committing fraud or
Aren't doing fake returns,
identity
mailing them
theft,
in. Yeah.
aren't doing
Yeah.
fake returns who have a balance due, right?
Correct.
We're going to do another text before the break. It says, hello. If you're on Medicare A and B, can you apply for New York State of Health instead of a gap policy?
Unfortunately, not. Once you turn 65, if you do not have credible coverage, which again is you or your spouse have to have coverage through a company that has more than 20 employees. So if you cannot use New York State of Health as a...
That's a really good question.
And,
Yeah,
and the
it is.
only
It's
way
a
you
very
get
good
A
question.
and B is being 65 and older, right?
Or a
Disabled.
disability like Amy was. Amy had a
Okay.
disability, and on your 25th month of disability, you're automatically enrolled into Medicare.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a fast break. Chris Fabian, Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax, Brian Ferracci, a health insurance specialist from the Financial Guys. 803-0930. Get your questions in now, and we'll catch you on the other side of the break.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me.
Let's not forget the brothers. You know, we got a lot of brothers, too. I know I got two, so...
I have two as well.
Woohoo! And
So-
you have two sisters, right, Christopher?
Me? Yes. Chris Fabian, Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax. We're here to help you. Final segment of the show. We got Brian from the Financial Guys with us to help you with your health insurance questions. You know, get them in. You know, take advantage of this. You know, free advice. And even during the week, Brian, you give free advice, right?
All week long. Yep, that's what we do. Free advice for anyone that needs it to make sure you're on the right path and you're not paying too much for your health insurance.
Yep. And with the rate increase they're proposing, everybody really needs to look at their health insurance.
I really feel bad for small business owners,
Yeah.
you know, depending on what the rate, well, regardless, it's going up.
Yeah.
So,
and
but
it's
terrible.
Walking up into the studio, I asked you, when will we find out what the actual percentage is?
And, somewhere around November 1st, which is very convenient since most renewals are up in November. You know, you have to renew between November and December, so they're going to give you, 10 days to figure out your budget and what you're going to offer your employees.
And then they have 10 days to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Because somehow the employee might have to suck up part of this cost. I can just foresee it.
This year, they didn't even give us the rates till almost, I think it was around November 10th of last year for 2023. So there was not a lot of time at all for
Wow.
us.
Crazy. Okay, we're going to go back to the phones and talk to Mike. Hey, Mike, how can we help you?
Hi, this is kind of a strange situation. My wife and I are retired. Currently, we're in possession of 3 homes. One that is worth about $90,000. We've held for over 20 years. Another is worth $170,000, and that's currently as a rental. And then we have a property out of state, which currently is worth about $550,000, but we paid $280 about 20 years ago. Now we're getting ready to sell all 3 of those homes and move back up here in the New York State totally. So my question is there a certain order to sell the homes to minimize tax consequences, or do you have to establish residency out of state, or what?
Well, where are you a resident of?
Right now, I am a resident of New York State.
Okay. And when you said you're moving back up here, so that's where thought maybe you were somewhere else. So, okay. So, and the $90,000 house, is that your primary residence?
Yes,
Okay. And how long have you lived there?
over 20 years.
Okay. So that one, it doesn't matter. That gain is going to be tax-free.
Okay.
Okay. The rental property, how long have you owned that one?
Over 20 years.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that one you're probably going to pay a lot of tax on because of depreciation.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
Irma is going to be a factor for him.
Are you over 65?
Right now, I'm 71.
Yeah, so selling these properties are going to, believe it or not, impact your Medicare costs.
However, Mike, there is a way to file an appeal for your Medicare IRMA, and we can help you with that if you need our help.
Oh, okay.
Because this may be a one-off year for you where you just have one high year of income, so you have a very good chance of winning an appeal.
Okay, so it wouldn't be like where that IRMA goes lifetime.
No, it only so there's a 2-year look back period. So you wouldn't be seeing this till, potentially 2025 or 2026.
Depending when you sell the houses.
Yes, exactly. So at that time you'll get a notice stating that your income or that your premium went up, and we just have to file an appeal. It's a pretty simple form to fill out.
Yeah,
And don't forget, whenever you're doing your taxes or using software or using a professional, that they indicate that you're selling the rental, because if you had any, and you might not, but if you had any suspended losses, they are resurrected the year that you sell the rental property. And so sometimes that's a mistake that I see. So make sure that people are dotting their I's and crossing their T's when they do your return this year.
Yeah, and now your other house that you have that's worth almost $600,000, is that a rental too, or is that just a personal second home?
That's like a second home, and like I said, we purchased that about 20 years ago.
Okay, and that's
Originally it was about $280, so it's just about doubled in value.
yeah. So what I would suggest doing is, Mike, is give our office a call. We can sit down with you, bring in a copy of your last year's return, and we could work up the numbers and let you know if you sell the vacation home, what you're going to pay tax on. If you sell the rental house, how much that's going to cost you. If you sell them both in the same year. So we can work that up for your best strategy, both for tax purposes and health insurance purposes.
Okay, great.
Are either of you still working by any chance?
Yeah, I just have a small part-time job. I make less than $20,000 a year.
Did they let you put any money into the 401k there?
No, there's no 401k, but I did put money into an IRA.
Okay, good. So you might.
And so did my wife.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. You could do a spousal IRA.
Cover as much as possible.
Yep, just things like Chris says come in so we can help you plan for what's going on this year,
Okay, great.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Have a great weekend. Good luck with everything.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that's the thing. Plan before you do things.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, not only for taxes, but health. Like if he wouldn't have called us, and I know with Irma, hopefully they will he may want to sell both at once, because if he sells them over 2 different years,
That's a different story.
That's
yeah.
a different
There's
story.
multiple years of higher income then. Yeah.
Yep. But that's something we'll talk, Mike, when you come in or call us to go over everything. But you're doing the right thing by pre-planning.
Yeah, I can't stress enough about people going on to Medicare on, seeing us 6 to 12 months before you turn 65, just so you have all the information so you're ready, especially for those who are contributing to a health savings account or different, IRAs, things like that. It all comes into play.
Yeah, and, how many... I'm not picking on Mike and Glenn, but how many financial people out there are telling, oh, you should put money in a Roth, convert it to a Roth. Well, it sounds great, but there's tax complications to it. There could be health insurance cost complications into it. So there's a lot you really got to think about. So if you plan and you call us first, we can run the numbers and say, look at this, look at that, and you may be surprised how much it's going to cost you.
And they have all the resources between EG Tax and the financial guys. We pretty much cover every service out there.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Was there another caller or they dropped?
No, they're not there.
They dropped.
But now, what happens to somebody who's not retired, but they're waiting to age 70 to collect Social Security because of the golden carrot, that 8% growth that I call it, that's on a fishing pole.
Yeah.
How do they get their Medicare?
So that process, they can do one of 2 ways. First one is to go down to Social Security and apply there, which no one wants to do. It's like being at the DMV. The second way is to do it online, which is very simple, and we can help you with that. I could probably walk you through the application with my eyes closed.
And if they don't say I never realized I had to do that, and they sign up at 67.
Well, number one, whatever insurance they had from 65 to 67 may not even be picking up claims because they should have already claimed Medicare. And then secondly, there's the dreaded penalty for not applying for Part B and another penalty for not having Part D, which is your prescription coverage.
And how much is the penalty?
So the penalty for Part B is 10% of the premium of that year. So right now the premium is $164.90. In 20 years, I can't imagine what that premium is going to be. And for anyone that has a lifetime penalty, it just keeps growing.
Oh my God! Rick, they'll get a lifetime penalty.
Yep.
Explain when you'd get a lifetime penalty. Repeat that.
So lifetime penalty if you do not apply for Part B, and there's different ways. So if you are leaving work insurance, you have 8 months to apply.
Okay, that's what I was talking about at the top of the show. Okay. If you don't apply for, do that again. Part B.
Within 8 months,
Okay.
then you have a penalty. And if you go longer, so for every 12 months you don't have credible coverage, it's 10% each year. So if you go 3 years, it's 30% penalty.
Oh my God.
So, but if I'm still working and I have insurance through my employer, I don't have to go for Part B. I don't have to say anything about
Only if there's more than 20 employees.
Okay.
So remember, the Financial Guys is a large organization, but we're broken up into different companies.
Right.
We don't have more than 20 employees in my department, so we would have to go on to Medicare.
Oh, geez. So that's a lot of people out there that.
But if I didn't know anything about health insurance, I'd look around my building and say, yeah, we have more than 20 employees.
Yeah.
We don't, though.
Yeah. Okay, we got another text. Have Social Security disability, so get Medicare. Also Medicaid. Do you do this service in Wyoming County?
I do across all of New York State and the entire state of Florida.
So they're duly covered. They have Medicaid and Medicare. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's good to know.
Yep.
Yep.
And the difference is there might be just different plan options available in your county, and I don't know off the top of my head what those would be.
But you
But
can
call
look
the
them up.
office on Monday, 633-1331, and we can go over some of those options.
You're very knowledgeable. I'm just sitting here listening. You can go right, you can go left, and when you go right, there's 20 different options, and then there's branches off to, and you can make the wrong decision, and you don't want to do that.
I need more than one radio show with you guys.
Yeah.
And we'll have you back on in like October. But
Perfect.
Chris Fabian, Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax, Brian from the Health Insurance Guys. Our hour's up. But if you need us during the week, give us a call at 632-7886. If you missed Brian's number, you can always call us. We'll get you in touch with them. Interested in tax school, go to our website at egtax.com. And keep listening. We have Jeff Katz and other special guests coming on during the summer. So until next week, have a great week. Stay cool and see you later. Bye-bye.